Welcome back to AM Northwest. Her debut novel has been one of the most anticipated books of the year, and it takes place right here in Portland. Here to share her celebrated new book, we welcome the author of Tilt, Emma Pattee. Good to have you with us, Emma. The book is incredible.
Thank you so much.
It's seriously, can't wait to get to the next, the next spot in it, the page turner that it is. So let's talk about your inspiration. You grew up here in Portland.
Yeah, I moved here when I was a teenager, and I've lived here ever since. My parents still live right near me in Kenton, so yeah.
Okay, so explain the story. Annie is the center of it, and she's pregnant and shopping at an IKEA store, and an earthquake hits.
Yeah, so she's very pregnant. She's shopping for this crib that she should have bought months ago, and then like the building starts to shake, and it's the big one, and then when she kind of emerges from the rubble of IKEA, she has to figure out how to find her husband, how to get home, and the city's completely destroyed.
Yeah. And destroyed. And so she's trying to find her husband and all of this. And yet she goes back and forth between present day, the day of the earthquake, and how she met her husband, how they got married, all of that. And she's talking to her baby.
Yeah, right? I wanted to show like Annie's trying to sort of understand how she got to the place that she got to in her life. And I wanted to show sort of this, I think of as like a very millennial experience of ending up in your 30s, like, how did I get here? Wasn't this supposed to look different than it looks?
Right.
Though the more people that read the book, the more they're like, well, I'm Gen X and that's also my experience.
Yeah.
Or like, well, I'm a boomer, but that's my experience. So maybe it's a universal experience that at some point in your life you think like, is this my life?
Yeah.
And Annie's really in that moment, and the earthquake gives her this chance to reevaluate things.
And the pregnancy, you're having trouble with that. I mean, you're having like, you're wondering about things. Am I doing the right thing? Did I eat the right thing?
Yeah.
Why was I here? I should have bought the crib months ago, as you said. So did this happen after your pregnancy? Did you write the book after your first pregnancy?
So I was very pregnant, and I was at IKEA shopping for a crib, and the building started to shake. And I thought, oh my God, it's the big one.
Yeah.
And it was like a big truck, like driving, maybe like going up to the loading dock. And so as soon as the building stopped shaking, I thought, oh, I'm gonna write this book. And it just like came to me very fully formed. And so I started writing it when my first child was about 8 weeks old. And then I sold the book when my second child was about 9 months old.
What was that like, your first novel?
You mean having two children?
No, oh sorry, I moved on from the children. Moved on from the kids.
I don't recommend that.
That's okay. I wanted to know about like, what was that like to sell this book?
I mean, it was the most exciting experience of my life. And I think especially because in my mind, this was such a Portland book.
Yeah.
And this was such a Portland topic. And Annie's such a Portland character that it really blew my mind that that people really saw this as a universal book and a book that would have very wide appeal.
Yeah.
But my editor actually lived in Portland for a long time as a younger woman.
Yeah.
And I think that's like, she felt the Portland spirit of the book. It was a very kismet experience.
It really is a love letter to Portland.
Yeah, it really is.
Even though you talk about the hard times about not being able to, as a young couple, Annie is not able to buy a house. Things are very tough. Her husband is having trouble finding work. You guys get married because you have to.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Health insurance wise.
Totally, and the way that like the tech boom has changed Portland, the way housing, I mean, Portland has changed so much since I moved here at, age 15. And I wanted to show that, but I also think sometimes Portlanders, like we love to rag on how much things have changed, but like this is still, I think, an incredibly beautiful, special city.
Yeah.
And I wanted to show Annie, I wanted to give Annie that chance to like fall back in love with her home.
Right. You're obsessed with earthquakes.
Yeah.
Yeah, tell me about that.
I am. I think a lot of people in Portland, well, I think Portland's divided in two types of people.
Okay.
People that are very anxious about the earthquake and people that don't think about it at all or have never heard of it. And when you are out in public, you can meet those people that are anxious and you sort of, there's like a nod of recognition.
Right.
And I'm one of those people. I've always been very anxious about the earthquake. And that anxiety just sort of grew in pregnancy.
What is your occupation in addition to writing?
I'm a climate journalist.
So there you go.
So there we go.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's in there too, right? Do you feel like Annie is a lot of you. I mean, she's not you.
She's not me.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, Annie's not me. I have a very different personality and I've had a real different path. But I was really interested in the way that, like, in Portland, we live under the threat of this thing coming that everyone says will be so horrible.
Yeah.
But no one knows when it's coming, and no one really knows how bad it's going to be.
Yeah.
And
no one's prepared.
And it's right. Isn't that like an analogy for climate change?
Right.
And also for
Right.
pregnancy.
Yeah.
And so, like, I was really interested in this
yeah.
idea of, like, how do you prepare for what we can never really prepare for? And that's also kind of what it means to be alive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that some of the takeaway for you that you want readers to have?
Yeah, I mean, the takeaway for me really, I wanted to show, like, a shock point. We all have these moments in our lives where, like, something happens.
Yeah.
And we get really clear, like, all the noise of everyday life fades away. And we get really clear, oh, I want to quit my job. Oh, I want to get divorced, right? Like, I'm moving to Paris. And I wanted to show that Annie gets this moment and she realizes, like, I'm really stuck.
Yeah.
And there's still so much time to change my life.
Yeah.
And that for me is the takeaway of the book, is that we all still have this chance to change our lives.
Right. How does your husband feel about the book? Because you can be, Annie's kind of disparaging towards her husband initially.
It's so funny. My husband, when he read the book, and he said, "Oh, the husband character is you." And I was like, "Yeah, I based the husband character on me," which is so funny because everybody hates him. And so, and only I think my husband knows me well enough to sort of grab that was me.
Oh, funny.
And so, yeah, no, my husband, he's also from here.
Yeah.
He really loves the book, but yes, I do think he really would like everyone to know that he is not the husband character.
I love it. Okay, I know you're going to be at Powell's. I wanted to show everyone this picture that you have with your boys in front of the marquee at Powell's, where you're like, how many times have you visited that marquee now?
I'm embarrassed, like 12 times. I'm going from here back to my marquee.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's such a gift that Powell's has really supported the book.
And this is and didn't they recommend it as like top listed?
Yeah, well, it's their first ever Portland Powell's pick for Portland.
Okay.
So it's a new thing they're doing when they find a book that they think that everyone in Portland should read. They're calling it the Powell's pick for Portland.
Yeah.
And mine is the first book to get that.
That is fabulous.
Yeah.
That is just fabulous.
I mean, as like a little kid, I used to go through Powell's and find like where my name would go on the bookshelf.
Oh my gosh.
And so, like, for me, I mean, that truly was sort of like the biggest moment that Powell's recognized the book.
This would be a good movie. Yeah, do you have anybody talking to you about it?
We'll see. I don't know if I'm allowed to say.
Oh,
but
gosh, so that means someone's talking to you about it.
But I think, I really hope if it did happen that they would shoot it in Portland. And,
Who would play Annie?
Oh, that's a really good question.
Yeah.
Who would play Annie? I don't know, but I really would love Laura Dern to play the mother.
Oh, yes,
yeah,
she's
I'm
fabulous.
Lifelong Laura Dern fan.
Yeah.
But I wonder,
great.
they better pick a Portlander.
Yes, they better. We want to tell everyone you have a book event at Powell's tonight at 7 o'clock. We're going to put all the information for everyone on our website at KAT.com. Tilt is absolutely fabulous. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
You bet. All right, we'll be right back with more AM Northwest. Don't go away.